Hello viewers, this is Just Fake Network TV, a home of accurate news and current news. For those who subscribe to our channel, God bless you for doing so. We really appreciate you. And if you're yet to subscribe, please kindly press the subscription button below. And now the news in details. Sheik Gumi to CGN, leave Sharia alone, talk about restructuring. The Chief Justice of Nigeria recently called for the amendment of the Constitution to expand the scope of Sharia legal system. What do you think? What I think is that we should do is to restructure Nigeria so that areas where Muslims are in the majority like Zamfara and Kano State, we have their system where Christians are more. Allow them to have their way. Law is what governs people and controls them. If there is Sharia law in Borno State, Boko Haram will end immediately because there will be nothing to agitate for. Saudi Arabia is running the Sharia system, but that does not prevent them from developing. They have the best roads, hospitals, and the latest technology. They produce some of the highest number of PhD holders in all fields. Restructuring Nigeria is the most important thing. Don't talk about Sharia. Each state should have autonomy to do what suits the majority of its population. You cannot neglect the religions. It is very potent. If it is used to manipulate the people, it becomes opium. But if it is used strictly according to the scriptures, it is good. In Islam, we are told that Muslims should love Christians, clerics, and not big-headed. Christianity inculcates humility. If your neighbors is a good Christians, you are saved. If your neighbors is a good Muslims, you are saved. A good Christians or a good Muslims will not chase your wife. He will not chase your daughter. He will not come home drunk, and he will not steal your money. We should fight religions. We should rather embrace religions, but it should be localized, not nationalized. Let states have their autonomy and rules. Muslim states that want Sharia should have it. If you do that, you will control crime. When Sharia was introduced in Zamfara, the crime rate was low. Go and check police records. Intellectually capable. I do not think it is for the Chief Justice of Nigeria to prescribe anything. It is for the National Assembly to restructure Nigeria, but I do not think we have the right caliber of people in the National Assembly to do that. They are not intellectually capable of restructuring Nigeria. Restructuring should happen in the next dispensation. Nigerians should be wise enough to elect intellectuals into government. 3 years is good enough for Christians, Muslims, and other intellectuals to come together and work out plans. It is just a matter of time. This is a very beautiful country, and we can make it what we want. It is time for us to restructure Nigeria. Should restructuring include amending the provisions of the Constitution on Sharia to cover the whole nations? Sharia has nothing to do with non-Muslims. Only the Sharia court can handle issues of inheritance for Muslims and not the conventional court. There has to be a way for the appellate court for Sharia cases. Once there is a law, there has to be an end. There should be an end to where the law can reach. If we restructure Nigeria to give every state autonomy, the country will be good. America is as diverse as we are, but the laws of the country as well rooted. We need a federation like America, where the states will have some form of independence. Nigerians seem more divided now than ever before. What do you think is responsible? Is it politics or religions? Politics is responsible. Religions unite mankind. If you remove Buddhism from India and China, for instance, there will be chaos. If you remove Christianity, there will be chaos. And if you remove Islam, there will be chaos. Religion solidifies. It holds mankind in big blocks so that they can respect each other. Religions is spiritual even though religions leaders exploit people. But there is an extent to which they can go before the scriptures are there. It is all about morality. It is all about good neighborliness and compassion. Religions is never a problem, but all those who manipulate religions are. That is where the problem is. The divisions in the country is caused by the political leadership. We don't have good leaders. We have leadership that still believes it is in opposition. It is structured to be opposing like critics. They are in power, but they still behave as if they are in opposition. I recently heard that the vice president saying they could not tackle poverty because of the past government. You are in your 50 years of leadership, yet you still believe somebody for not turning things around. Adolf meet Germany in utter disaster, but in a few years, Germany was producing machines to fight the world. It is leadership. The economy is dependent on leadership. We don't have that. There is crime everywhere. We are spending wrongly. Recently, President Muhammadu Buhari submitted a request to the National Assembly to borrow another $30 billion. What does this portend? They do not have priority on development. They want a quick fix. They want to build edifices so that they can say this is what we did. This is not how an economy is run. Human development indices are very low in Nigeria. Mortality rate is high and the standard of education is poor. If you train Nigerians, they will do what is right. Our budget for human development is very poor. And we are spending where we should not spend because we want to impress. Talking about education, the North is not making progress in terms of schools enrollment. What do you think is responsible for this state of affairs? Leaders are not investing enough in education. The budgetary allocations for education is low. Since the North has a problem in the education sector, state governments should invest more in education. They should get teachers from other places, improve qualities of teachers, and build more schools. Things will turn around in a short time if proper attention is paid to education. We are not spending on education and we are not spending on health. What government needs to do is to create industrial agriculturalists. We have arable lands. Government should assist people who want to embrace agriculture. When you give loans to small-scale farmers, it does not help. What happened is that after getting the loans, instead of tilling the land, they buy hatch tickets or marry more wives. They engage in bedrooms farming, not real farming. Professor Anjo Abdullahi recently said politicians and political system have failed Nigerians. Is theocracy an option? Theocracy died several years ago. The Papal authority used to send crusaders to the Middle East, but it turned out a disaster, and the Pope lost his authority. Monarch came out, but they lost their authority. There is no more theocracy. In Islam, the caliphate was completely destroyed in 1924, and there are no more caliphates now. God cannot allow you to form a government under his cloak, and you will be deceiving people. It would destroy it. What is your reaction to the recent discovery of torture centers in the name of Islamic rehabilitation centers? I have been to some of the centers. There was a wrong narration to the story. Poverty and ignorance in the North have led to an explosion in the use of drugs. Men, women, and children are addicts, and there are no government institution that can handle such things. Out of necessity, families take their children to some centers with the hope that they will be restrained and rehabilitated. It is not a hospital where they can be treated. So they chain the addicts so that they will not harm anybody or themselves. It is the parents of some of these children that want them to be shackled. It is as a result of the absence of government. Government should produce rehabilitation center to address these huge problems. During the first 4 years of Buhari, you expressed disappointment with his performance. Is there any sign that there will be change? Things have become worse. Look at the borders closure. Look at the obsession with rice. This is a government that thrives on propaganda, and it is capitalizes on the ignorance of its supporters. Things are bad for the people. Court orders have no meaning in Nigeria now because government can ignore it. Do you sometimes fear that Nigeria is heading towards dictatorship, as some people claim? Nigeria is too big. What I fear is a slide into anarchy. Government seems not able to handle anything. Boko Haram is too long for government. Violent herdsmen are too big for government to handle. All the money that is being borrowed. Why can't they improve the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC? They don't want to make INEC work because they depend on rigging. If you were to advise this government, what would you do? This is a difficult question for me because if you beat a dead horse, will it run? The situation is terribly bad. People cannot feed, and people cannot buy drugs. You can no longer trust even your driven to buy fuel for you. He would rather take part of the money to feed his family. Corruption is everywhere because of lack of leadership. We need a new crops of leaders in the country. We need people who are not stained by blood and corruption. Wow, this is a good one from Sheik because he has said it all. Corruption has really fooled everywhere. Corruption starts from the leader. This corruption starts from our Nigerian leaders. And what are they doing about it? So my viewers and you, my question to you right now is that if you were to advise this government, what would you say? What would you say if you were to advise this government? What would you say about it? Will you say that the government is a good one? Or will you say that the government is a bad one? And obviously to me, I feel that the government is a very bad and corrupt one right now. And it is only God that can help us. This guy actually said it all. What he said is a very is truth is the right one. He said it all. And you know, what is our government doing about this? What is it doing about it? It is God that can help us. So viewers today, what do you think about this news? What is your own take? And kindly drop your comments at the comment section below. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. And please, if you were to advise this government, what would you say? Thank you so much and God bless you.